If you look at a classroom, you'll see all sorts of things, some alive, some not. But how do we actually decide what's living and what's not? It's not always as obvious as it seems.
Right, and that's where biology steps in. There are a few key features that every living thing shares. For example, living things grow, move, breathe, reproduce, and respond to their environment. If anything doesn't tick those boxes, it's probably non-living.
Take a pencil for instance. You can push it and it'll move. But it won't grow, it won't breathe, and it definitely won't have baby pencils. But a pigeon? It moves on its own, breathes, eats, grows, and can have chicks. That's a clear difference.
But sometimes it's tricky. Think about a snail's shell. It looks like a stone, but it's actually a living part of the snail, protecting it and helping it survive. Or plants. They don't walk around, but they're very much alive.
Let's break down those characteristics. First, movement. Animals, of course, move from place to place. But plants, they don't walk, but their leaves, stems, and roots do move in response to things like sunlight or touch.
Exactly. For example, sunflowers track the sun across the sky. That's called heliotropism. And the mimosa plant, also known as touch-me-not, folds its leaves when you touch it. That's thygomonasty.
Growth is another big one. Living things grow from within. A seed becomes a tree. A kitten grows into a cat. Non-living things might change shape, like clay when you mold it, but that's because of an outside force, not because it's alive.
And nutrition. All living things need food. Plants are autotrophs. They make their own food using sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide through photosynthesis. Animals, on the other hand, are heterotrophs. They depend on other organisms for food.
Respiration is vital too. Animals breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Plants also respire, but they do it through tiny pores on their leaves called stomata.
And don't forget about excretion. Living things need to get rid of waste. Humans sweat, urinate, and breathe out carbon dioxide. Plants release water vapor and gases through their stomata. Some plants, like eucalyptus, even excrete oils to keep pests away.
Then there's response to stimuli. Living things react to changes around them. If you touch something hot, you pull your hand away. If you shout near a dog, it might bark or run. Plants too respond, like the mimosa folding its leaves or some flowers closing at night.
Reproduction is another must. All living things reproduce to keep their species going. Animals have babies and plants produce seeds. If something can't reproduce, its kind won't last long.
And when a living thing stops showing all these characteristics, even if it has food, air, and water, it's considered dead.
Now let's zoom in on plant movement. Plants don't walk, but they have some fascinating tricks. For example, thigmomatropism. Climbers like ivy wrap around objects for support. Or nyctinomnasty, some flowers open during the day and close at night.
And insectivorous plants like Drosera or sundew move their leaves to trap insects. It's their way of getting extra nutrition when the soil is poor.
Growth in plants starts with a seed. Even though a seed looks lifeless, it's alive. When it gets enough water, air, and the right temperature, it germinates. Water softens the seed coat, air provides oxygen, and sunlight helps the seedling make food once it emerges.
Experiments show that seeds need moisture and air to sprout. Some seeds need light, others need darkness. It depends on the species.
Photosynthesis is the magic that lets plants make their own food. During the day, they take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. At the same time, they're respiring, taking in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide, just like us, but through stomata.
Humans and animals breathe using lungs. When we run or play, we breathe faster because our bodies need more oxygen.
Excretion in plants isn't just about water vapor. Some, like the rubber tree, store waste in the latex. Others, like eucalyptus, release oils that keep pests away.
Now, response to stimuli is all about survival. Touch something hot, you pull away. Loud noise, you jump. The mimosa folds its leaves when touched. Some plants close their leaves at night to save energy.
Reproduction and life cycles are fascinating. Animals like dogs, elephants, and hens have young ones that look like them. Plants go from seed to seedling to mature plant, then flower and produce seeds again.
Let's take the bean plant for instance. Its life cycle is seed, germination, seedling, mature plant, flower, pod with seeds, and then it starts over.
Mosquitoes have a different cycle. Egg, larva, pupa, adult. They breed in stagnant water, so keeping water from collecting helps prevent diseases.
Frogs start as eggs, become tadpoles with tails and no legs, then grow legs to become froglets, and finally turn into adult frogs that can live on land and in water.
Plants and animals have different life cycles. Plants start from seeds and grow into mature plants that make more seeds. Animals might start as eggs or live births and go through stages like larva or tadpole, sometimes changing form completely, a process called metamorphosis.
Both types of life cycles help the species survive, but the steps and adaptations are unique.
There's some important vocabulary to remember. Germination is when a seed starts to grow. Thigmonasty is movement in plants due to touch. Heliotropism is movement toward the sun. Stomata are the tiny pores on leaves for gas exchange.
Photosynthesis is how plants make their food using sunlight. Excretion is getting rid of waste. Thigmotropism is growth in response to touch. Autotrophs make their own food. Nyctinonasty is movement in response to darkness. Insectivorous plants trap insects for nutrition. Stimulus is anything that causes a response. Reproduction is making new life. Spawn is a cluster of frog eggs.
And before we wrap up, let's talk about Jagdish Chandra Bose. He was an Indian scientist who showed that plants are sensitive and can respond to their environment. He invented the crescograph, a device that measures how plants grow and react to things like light and heat.
His work changed how we see plants, not just as green things, but as living, responsive beings. It's a reminder that life is full of surprises, whether it's a sunflower tracking the sun or a frog changing from a tadpole to an adult.
So next time you see a plant or an animal, remember, they are not just sitting there. They are growing, moving, breathing, responding, and making sure life goes on.
That's the wonder of living things. They're always adapting, always finding ways to survive and thrive. And understanding these basics helps us appreciate the world around us just a little bit more.